Stillwater.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've been, we've all been out. And actually, Coach Johnson just rolled into town again, and so we're all three of us are going to be here this afternoon for the first time since the season ended. Just had to, obviously get Nate hired, and had to wait for them to get done. There was a lot of people applied for the job. It was an unbelievable response, but to me, it was all about getting the right person, and I truly believe Nate's the right person, and will be a perfect fit for us. Outstanding recruiter, loves to work with hitters, and those were the two things that I really wanted. And then the fact that he's very familiar with the Midwest. He also knows Texas real well, has a lot of ties in Texas. I just thought that if we can get Nate to come here, it would be a huge plus for us, and we won't skip a beat. We'll keep right on rolling along like we have, this past season. So with that being said, I guess we're open for questions, and however you guys want to handle it. If you want to talk to me first, and then to Nate by himself, or just both of us together. It's totally up to you.
I guess for both you guys, kind of who made the first move? How did the hire come about?
Well, I made the first move, and I really obviously they're trying to win a super regional. They eliminated us, and I didn't want to bother him or just take anything away from their team. I wanted them to win. Obviously, I wanted to talk with him, but I wanted them to win that. Being from this region and going down there and facing TCU, he didn't need any distractions. They needed to be 100% hooked up mentally. It was kind of the same way I handled it last year with Coach Johnson. I waited for them. I thought I was going to have to wait another few weeks. I thought they were going to go to the World Series. They got upset by Arizona in the Super Regional. Once that was over, I made contact with the head coach, and then made contact, with the potential coach.
What was that like, calling Keith Gutt?
Well, I went the other route first. I sent him a text, and I said, please call me. I mentioned to him what I wanted to talk to him about, and then I said, give me a call. And I didn't do it right after the game. I actually waited till, I think they were beat on maybe a Sunday, and I waited till Monday night. I think that was the first night of the draft, and that Keith actually called me later that night. And we had a good talk. He was really good with it, and he basically, his word was, hey, I get it, and he had nothing but good things to say about Nate. So that was good. And I didn't ask him one question. He just kind of said a few things. So I appreciated that.
Well, Nate's duties be exactly the same as Tony's as far as what he does.
Yeah, he'll be our recruiting coordinator. Obviously, he'll work with Coach Johnson, and then, I'll pick up after them and go, do what I do. But he'll be the one that's probably more organizing it, along with Coach Johnson. And then obviously he'll handle our hitters and, work with outfielders as far as practicing on the field. So it ended up being a really smooth transition as far as, I'm not asking him to do something that he's not real familiar with. He's good to go.
Yeah, I think less than 4 years ago, Nate was a junior college assistant.
Yeah.
7 years ago, he was a volunteer assistant in Nebraska.
Yep. Now
he's got, I would assume, what you consider one of the top assistant jobs in the country. What is that an abnormally quick rise through the ranks? Just what do you think about that?
Well, I guess you could say it's a quick rise. I think it's because, in my opinion, he's earned it by working and doing it. There's a lot of guys that will come back from pro ball or never play pro ball and get hired right in, maybe be a volunteer at a Division I, a big-time school, and next thing you know, somebody leaves and they get promoted and they're 26 years old and they're in the same situation. I like guys that go out and work. I mean, I like the fact that he's coached at a junior college. I like the fact that he's been at a school like Missouri State that has to grind it out a little bit more and maybe doesn't have all the things that you'd like to have when you're trying to impress a recruit and his family, as far as the way you travel or different things. He kind of, if you look at, you look at my resume a little bit, that's kind of the way I did it. Went to junior college, went to Division II. I never was a Division I assistant coach. I just kind of went out and got it, and I think he's doing the same thing. And it's really, everywhere he's been, he's done well. And everyone I've talked to had a lot of good things to say about him, whether it was about him personally, as a person off the field, to his work ethic. I mean, I even talked to a coach this morning that made the comment to me, that was a great hire. And that's somebody that's in our league that's a good friend of mine, that I gave him a little bit of time after they lost. So you can probably figure out who I'm talking about. And that was his response. That was super hire. So, yeah, I mean, I think it may be a little sooner than some guys, but again, it wasn't me going out and hiring the biggest name guy out there that wasn't the right guy. So, you know, we'll see. But we feel good about who we have, believe me.
Nate, how big a head start do you think you have just having prepared against these guys the last couple of years and then starting to coach them?
I'm really excited about working with the hitters here. And all the guys coming back and the great talent coming in. You know, Tony did a great job with recruiting and getting a lot of very talented hitters. And you know, that was a big thing for me, was looking at it going, we're gonna have a lot of premium talent to work with. You know, and just being able to see them up close and compete against them over the last few years. Very excited about it.
Nate, obviously Arkansas and Missouri State had a pretty good rivalry, and especially, you know, with the postseason games. I don't know, it's just kind of weird, you know, leaving Missouri State to come to Arkansas. Just how do you feel about that?
Arkansas has always been a place that I've thought a lot of because of Coach Van Horn and obviously the success and tradition of the program and the fan base. And I loved coming here and competing as an opponent, but I'm really excited about you know, calling this home now. Just everything about it. You know, I wanted to come and play here in the regional because you want to line up against the best and play in that environment. And you know, it was honestly kind of a reward for the year we'd had at Missouri State. And yeah, love it. You know, there was no better atmosphere I've ever been a part of than the 15 Super Regional. So to be able to call that home now is a dream come true.
And how was Coach Gunn with you? Did he kind of understand this was a move, you know, you should make for your career?
Absolutely. You know, I can't thank him enough for everything he's done for me personally, giving me that opportunity at Missouri State, and you know, really trusted me. You know, he's been so good to me. You know, he'd always just told me throughout the whole process that, hey, if somebody comes along and calls or whatever, you know, let him know. And I think you know, he understood. So he's a very good man.
Nate, from the sound of it, he kind of targeted you. So what your response when you heard, hey, we're interested in you, and proceeding from there?
Very excited. You know, when I heard that Tony had taken the job at Tennessee, I was hoping to be considered personally, but you know, we were in the middle of trying to go win the Super Regional and everything, and you know, didn't hear anything obviously until after it was over, but very excited to talk to Coach Van Horn and learn more about the program. I mean, you know, knew a lot about it from being a competitor, but just getting more involved and seeing how great it is on the inside is pretty remarkable.
Kind of what's your hitting philosophy? Because I guess what Dave said, this is a team that may be morphing from more into small ball and speed than just strictly than the power from last year.
Personally, it doesn't matter to me. It's just all about run production, and so whether it's us driving the ball or just finding a way to compete and grind and get on base, being opportunistic on the base pass, playing small ball, I don't care. You know, my style is to try to exploit each guy's strengths and really help them understand what they do well as a player and how they can fit into, you know, a good role for themselves and us as a team to score runs. And if what they do is hit the ball hard and flat and run really well, then that's the thing we're going to focus on. And if they're more of a power type guy, then I'm going to encourage them to try to get their best swing off and drive the ball, hit doubles and homers. So it goes both ways.
If few years ago, you're a JUCO assistant, and I'm sure you got goals of moving up. Did you imagine being at a place like Arkansas this fast in your career?
I guess not, to be totally honest. It was a great opportunity for me 3 years ago when Keith Gutton called me and wanted to know if I was interested there. And I kind of think of it the same way with this job. A really good piece of advice I got years ago from a man who's a great coach was just make the job you currently have the best you can make it, and everything will take care of itself after that. So that's kind of been my focus is, when I was at Hutchinson Community College, is making the Blue Dragons the best that we could be there, and at Missouri State, the same thing, and that's going to be my goal here at Arkansas as well.
Dave, your roster, with some of the guys you're going to get back, is it going to be difficult to put the pieces together with your scholarship?
No, it's all handled as of right now.
Wow.
So yeah, we were just talking, and it's been really good. Kind of getting back to Nate's comment, it's changed a little, Nate, because we kept a couple of guys, but we do have some athletic young guys coming in, and are they going to play every day? We'll see. But there are some guys that can run, like Casey Martin can really run, and Heston Kerstead can really run, and they can swing it too. And there's a couple other guys, but we also have some guys with some power, like Cole Turney's got big power, and a couple other guys. But yeah, the roster. Yeah, I don't know how to word this. The draft got us with 3 or 4 kids, and Kanan Smith was a guy that I didn't know I knew he was going to be drafted, and I knew in my heart he would sign. Didn't know he was going to go in the 5th round. We didn't know where he was going to play, and he didn't know where he was going to play, and so I didn't really feel like he was going to come. JC lefty, probably figured he was going to sign. So we kind of have an idea on some people. Our pitcher lefty from Alabama set a record for strikeouts, and he took a little less money than we thought he should, but we're okay with it if that's what he wants to do. We kept some guys, which is really exciting. With Bryce Bonin coming and Milligan, and then Jackson Rutledge, who wasn't even drafted, and then Vermillion, who wasn't drafted because both those guys priced themselves out, and then. Cole Ramage is one of the more polished pitchers out of South Lake Carroll with a nasty slider, 90-mile-an-hour guy, 88, 90. And then we signed a kid late that y'all don't know about named Caleb Bolden, who was a 16th round pick of Tampa Bay out of Texarkana, Texas. We just signed him yesterday. We've been working on him since Christmas, didn't know if we had the money, and bang, all of a sudden he made a jump, and he's getting everybody out, and everybody came in on him, and we were fortunate enough to get him, and one reason we were able to get him is because some things opened up, and he's a guy that's going to be able to help us right away. So we feel like we have, really 5 quality right-handers coming in that should help us immediately in one role or another. Bonin being the one that everyone's talking about being so electric, with the 95-mile-an-hour arm, but he's a little raw. He's a shortstop converted guy. He'll get a chance to play both. He's a guy that maybe he can come in and be a closer. I don't know, maybe he's a starter. We'll see. We have a lot of questions there. But the righties throw a lot of strikes, and they're pretty good. And then, Milligan's a guy, I didn't even know if we were going to get him to school. Big left-hander that we recruited hard. I don't know if you all know this, pretty much he committed to Mississippi State when I was with Team USA over in the Netherlands, and I was really upset a couple years back, and then just told myself I'm going to revisit this down the road because he was like a 9th grader. And once Coach Johnson got on board, I revisited it, and it worked out. So he's a guy that we didn't know if he'd make the school because he had an alarm situation in spring that probably helped him get here, but he's going to be all right. And then the offensive players. It's shrunk down a little bit because we have a few guys that are going to go to junior college that were originally going here. Really a pitcher or two, and then a few position players. So really right now we have a recruiting class that shrunk down to about 13. And that's right where it needs to be.
Anybody transferring besides Jackson Williams?
Yeah, Jackson Williams is, as far as I know, and it's all good with Jackson. He gets it. With Shaddy coming back with 600-700 Division I at bats. Jackson spent a year in here not getting to play. And then now, really, there's no shot, with Carson coming back unless he got hurt. Plus, we have 3 really good infielders coming in that he'd have to beat out as well. I just figured, hey, go to JUCO, go get a bunch of at-bats, and we'll go from there. But, yeah, he's the only position player right now. We have some guys that aren't coming back. Brendan Heising is going to come back. He needs to go to junior college and learn to throw the ball over the plate. That's probably his biggest issue. And obviously, the older kids, the big lefty Kroll is going to go to a junior college. And the last I heard, now he's thinking about playing football at a junior college and baseball. I haven't told you that one. I think, does Jeff Coe have football?
Not that I'm aware
Yeah,
of.
so anyway, I don't know where he's going. But, yeah, so, there's going to be a few of those guys. But as far as the position players that were in here, Williams is the main one that's going to go off and, try to get 100 at-bats in the fall and 200 in the spring and see if he can elevate his game a little bit.
Opitz was drafted. Do you think he'll be here?
Do I think he'll be here?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think they'll all be here. And, I just, Opitz they knew what he wanted. That's why he went in the 27th round. Very talented kid, switch hitter, catcher, but it would also be the best shortstop on his high school team, second baseman, first baseman. I had a long talk with his coach. And, he's the youngest brother of 3. One played at Nebraska, signed pro, one signed pro right out of high school, and he's the youngest one. They're not going to let him sign. They want him to take the college route. And you coached one of them, didn't you, a little bit up there?
Jake, yes.
Yeah, so, and during the recruiting process, I've talked with the brothers, the dad. We had to battle hard against Arizona State and Auburn to get him. And then I think ultimately it came down to us and Auburn. And, fortunate that we got him here. And he's actually up playing for the Midland Redskins this summer along with Casey Martin. So those guys are gaining some really good experience. That's where James McCann went, Zach Cox went. Benintendi played on that team. Just feel really good about the class that's coming in, and they're all young for the most part, freshmen. Once we got it where it made sense for everybody to come. There was a few guys that aren't coming because Bonfield's coming back. It knocked another outfielder out, and you could go on. And these kids are concerned a little bit because they want to play, but they want to know that they're going to get a chance. And me, I'm going to be up front with them and tell them, there's not much of an opportunity to play the first year. And JUCO ended up being the best route for some guys, and that's what most of them are going to do.
Getting Blaine back, you kind of indicated, the night you guys lost, you're understandably pretty down. You said thought he was moving on, then that changed a little bit.
Yeah.
And now I guess he is coming back. How big is that?
It would be huge. I mean, Blaine is he's been there. He has the experience. He's a guy that has been in the heat of the battle in the SEC tournament and regionals, and pitching at LSU on the road and those type of places. And talent is great, but if you have talent and you've experienced it, it's just that's the only way you get it, is to experience it, is to get that experience. And talked with Blaine the other day, and he's taking a little time off, and he's just trying to get stronger. And I know he's drafted in the 29th round by the Rangers, and the last thing he told me is, "Coach, don't worry about it. I'll be at school." And I truly believe that. Blaine had every opportunity in the world to make a deal first day. People say, "Why did he slip? Why did he slip?" He didn't slip. He wanted a lot of money, and so then it was up to those teams to make that decision. You want to pay him X amount, and they didn't get maybe to exactly what he wanted, and he stood firm, and I respect him for that. And he believes in himself. That's why he's coming back. It's not like he's rolling the dice. They already know what he can do. He's going to make the money that he turned down this year, even if it doesn't go great, or if there's an injury or anything. But he has a great opportunity to come back bigger, stronger, and better. And you can see his name picked maybe the first couple hours of that draft next summer. So excited to get him back. Some of the other schools in our league have gotten some guys back. A&M got their #1 left-handed reliever back, which was kind of shocking. And a couple other guys have said they're coming back. So it happens more than you think. But we're just hoping we can have Isaiah back, and he'd be a guy that can get the form that he had last fall, and figure out who's going to go from there. But we feel like that we have a chance to put together a pretty good pitching staff.
Kind of surprised were you about Shaddy and Bonfield and then having to kind of shift gears on
Yeah, a
your
little
approach?
surprised there, honestly. You know, Carson was not happy at all, and you know, Carson called me 3 or 4 times in a 12-hour span, and you know, I just told him, hey, you know, if you don't go, you don't go. You know, making sure that he still was gung ho, and he is, and he had a chance to go play in California or play a little bit in the Cape Cod, and so we just decided, you know, with all the experience he gained last year and the year before, this is the summer that I want him to come in and put on 10, 15 pounds of strength, because at the end of the year he had lost a lot of weight. And if you look at his numbers over the last 2 years, he tears it up the first half, power-wise and all that, and then it goes the other way. So he just needs to get bigger and stronger and faster, and he's working on that. And then with Luke is now playing in the Cape Cod League, and he's playing outfield, getting to play a little bit of first base. He started off 0 for 12, by the way, but he hit 6 balls right on the nose, they said, and then I saw where he had a 4 for 5 game, and he's been like 1 for 3, 1 for 2. I follow the box scores every night, and I just talked to him 2 days ago, and so that just tells you they're into it and they want to play. And you know, sometimes the disappointment could take you down for a while, but with those two, they got over it and they're moving on, thinking about the future. And you know, we want to be playing this week next year, so it's going to be good to have some seniors on the team that are good. You know, a lot of times you have seniors that are on a team that are okay. They didn't sign, or they're good players. These guys are experienced and they're good players, and you know, they'll be able to lead us a little bit. And then you mix in the other guys coming back. It should be a good mix, and you know, expectations around here are going to be high.
Hey, how do you feel about getting some experienced guys back, and then you're also getting guys like, you know, Fletcher and Cook that are real good hitters too?
I'm very excited. I think that you know, having really quality, good, experienced veteran guys is important in college baseball. You know, like Coach said, you know, when I was in 2015, that was a big part of our success at Missouri State, was having a lot of veteran guys back that had kind of been through the battles, and they kind of knew how to handle things, and I'm excited to work with Carson and Luke in that manner.
Anyone else? Okay. Thank you.
Okay.